Hello and welcome. My name is Paul Quinton. I'm a teacher, healer, channel and writer. And I work out of London and Surrey in the UK. And I've been involved in the spiritual movement all of my life. Used to grow up working with spirit with my family. We used to do sort of sittings and seances. So I was very much connected to the unseen world, and we used to do a lot of rescue work for different astral plane entities that used to get stuck. So that's how I sort of opened up to it from a very early age, and only in the last sort of 23 years have I been working full-time in the healing field. So I actually have a practice. I do a lot of teaching and workshops, which I'll explain. I've just had my new modality patented, and it's all insured now. I'm going to be talking a little bit about that as well, on the video when we do the live in August. Looking forward to that. So I'm going to cover quite a few topics, and of course I channel. I have a Facebook group that I talk to every week. I do live channelings and messages, just sort of to assist everyone, and I sort of, and I'm doing the channeling now with current events, actually what's happening on the planet that week or within that month, and especially now as we've gone through COVID, there's been a lot of stuff around why it's happening, what's the spiritual effects, what's the physical effects, what's the negative side of it. Then we have the whole vaccine agenda, why that. So I'll be talking a little bit about that. I'm going to also introduce you to like I said, my Alignment Modality workshop. Which is actually a modality, and it's a training program to assist human beings to connect to their hearts, their souls. Now, this is nothing like it's out there at the moment, in the sense that I've done many modalities, and some of them are now becoming redundant because the consciousness of the planet has shifted. So the vibration is changing. So we're actually working in a different sense now. We're not working with belief systems or through the mind so much anymore. Actually working through the soul, the feminine, and the heart signature, and working more with feeling, because once the feelings are felt, then you can transform the emotional body. So a lot of the foundational part of the modality is around transforming the emotional body. Now, this will come into my talk as well, why we need to do that, why this has come on the planet now. It's a channeled modality, and a lot of the information that I speak about actually comes through the channeling process. And I find that's a more unique way of working because it takes the human ego out of the way. And this is also what Spirit have asked me and one of my other colleagues to teach. And she's actually brought through the foundational aspects, and I'll discuss all that when we do the talk. And the numerology and some activation work that we're doing. And I'm bringing a lot of stuff through with the soul, with the brain and the mind, the subconscious. So I'm going to be talking all about that, why we are where we're at now, what's actually happening to humanity, why we are stuck in some spirit actually say we're now going backwards because we're losing consciousness. However, because of the COVID, the spiritual, shall we say, aspect of that was to sort of take us out of that 9-to-5 model, was giving us a chance to come back into ourselves, into our hearts, and find out what really matters. And we had to get out that external consciousness where we are not looking within. So this has been a grand opportunity for us to sort of look within. And I'm going to be talking about the New Age movement and where the misinformation is in the New Age movement, because I see a lot of people starting up and talking about different things, and a lot of it's the old information, and it's still confusing a lot of people. And Spirit have been very clear, and they've said we're already ascended everywhere. So the whole ascension program sort of gets debunked really, because we are multi-dimensional beings, so exist on all levels, on all densities, or shall we say planes of consciousness. Now, dimensions are everywhere. There's thousands of dimensions within a density. A density is like a plane or a level of consciousness. So we are already on every level. So what we're actually doing is learning to be human, learning to have spiritual realization whilst in a human body. Now, that's a lot different than trying to ascend somewhere, believing that we need to do all of these courses, workshops, bits and pieces to and all this left brain learning to actually ascend or get enlightenment, because we're already enlightened beings. And the whole thing about moving into 5D is an illusion as well, because if we're already in 5D in our multidimensional aspects, there's no need to go there. We're already existing there. Now, the problem is, where this whole 5D thing is that we're actually moving into 4D, if you want to call it a different plane of consciousness. Because even the planet is moving to a different quadrant of the galaxy, where the planet frequency is a lot lighter. So even the atom is changing. And I've actually channeled a whole book, and it should be going to publish this year through my editor and literary agent. And it talks a lot about this, all of this stuff and what's happening and the frequency. And I'll be talking a little bit about the divine algorithm, where it's actually starting to reconnect and open our consciousness up now. And it's all about the genetic coding, and I'll be talking about how we can access source directly through the genetic coding. It's the 1 and the 0 manifest, the unmanifest, the feminine and the aspect, and feminine and masculine working together. As the 0 is the feminine, it's the unmanifest, it's the 13th ray, it's the black ray. Everything manifests from there. So the male force of creation sits on the 12th density, and that's the white ray, that's light. So light is love in active form. So I'll be explaining how this divine call that's come from within us, or within our spirit, direct from source, is now opening in the heart chakra. Now, the genetics are very affected by the heart chakra. So if the heart chakra is closed, the genetics stay stuck, unused. But the genetics are codes of unmanifested reality. There's an intention and a frequency connected to the codes. They are threads of light. And there's a lot of ancient markers around the planet are starting to ignite now. And these have been put here millions of years ago by very, very advanced races. And this is all starting to work and starting to shift and open up. So I'll be talking a lot about that, how it's affecting our bodies, how it's affecting our emotional, our aura, why we're getting stuck and sick now, why we're believing that the outside entity will protect us, hence the government or the medical profession. So we'll be bringing some truth in there, and sort of just getting people to understand that the spiritual warrior stands still and manifests everything to them. So once you are still and present, you will bring everything to you. Once you are soul aligned, you won't need to manifest so much, because your soul has a contract for you to be here. It's going to give you the highest, most healthiest outcome in this life if you're connected to it and if you surrender to it. So what's happening is we work in a magnetic universe. So people are living with the magnetics, or what we call karma. So this is where we believe we're creating karma, bad things happen to us, we keep repeating cycles, because what's happening is the emotional or mental pattern is still there. So you will always draw the same experiences, what you call karma, to you until you break that cycle. So this is all about magnetics. So it's again understanding that consciousness is frequency. So when consciousness comes into the body as electromagnetic energy, if the person's blocked or the emotional body is very heavy, that gets stuck, that electromagnetic energy. And what it does is it blocks and it causes inflammation, it causes disease, illness, ailments. So a lot of the frequency that's trying to move through the body, which comes in, because we are consciousness everywhere, so we are constantly receiving energy. So if we're very blocked on a mental, emotional, or even physical level, we're going to manifest ailments. So this is why I'm starting, and I'll be introducing the element medicine that I'm working with as well, and we've channeled through. And this is all to get the body and the soul, or shall we say the emotional body, ready to receive this divine algorithm, ready to surrender to the frequency of the soul energy. Because what's happening now is we're moving into collective consciousness. So we're coming back out of this individual living, the ego consciousness. We're having to surrender to that now. The ego's not going to go anywhere because it served a wonderful purpose, but it's not going to be in control of us anymore. We're going to surrender to the feminine, which is the soul energy, and then the ego will be our sort of guide while we're in the physical. And again, I'll talk about all this later. But the main thing is understanding that things are not going to be the same on the planet anymore. And this is why they've given this channel this modality, because it gives you everything that you need to move safely through this transition, through this earth cycle. Now, this is a wonderful experience to be here now. Many people are freaking out, but that's okay, because the shadow self is coming to the surface for recognition. And I'll explain about entities, I'll be explaining about why we get psychic attack and all the rest of it, and how we can resolve that very, very quickly. So once you understand the truth of how things work, it's much easier, it takes all the fear away. And this is the great thing about working at this level with this new energy that we've brought through, is that it's perfect, it's apt right for now. It's holding the frequency of the new earth. So if you adopt the principles, you will naturally glide through this transition much easier. And the main thing is that you're not manifesting any illness or disease. Because like the COVID was there to trigger the grief, the ancient grief that we've been carrying around through our ancestral line, for our own DNA for tens and thousands of years and more. So what you'll see is that there's nothing actually wrong with the actual virus itself, because what will happen, so for example, an emotion, what it will do is it will mutate itself to create a virus, for then that virus is then to trigger that emotion within the person. So it's a mirror. So it always comes from the emotion that's manifested itself out. So for example, COVID, that's why it attacked the lungs, because grief sits in the lungs. And it was there, and it was actually there to serve humanity. Now, again, that's a big conversation. It's not told that way through the medical profession. But the main thing is that we're teaching you that nothing can affect you, nothing can go against your will. And you have the power to, through your own belief system, through your own energetic composition, to reject anything coming into your body, any foreign object. But the way our society programs us is that we are susceptible to everything, that we are sheep, that we could be attacked any time by a virus or a bacteria or whatever, or pretend foreign attack from another country. Again, it's all part of the illusion. So what's happening now, we're moving through the illusion, we're moving into reality, we're starting to see what's really going on. But more importantly, and it's not about getting into conspiracy theories, although most of them are real, it's more about taking sovereignty back of your own body, of your own mind, of your own emotions. And I'll be talking again a lot about that, how you can do that, what's starting the process. There's a few simple techniques I'm going to share about how to reconnect with the soul, to start breaking that frequency through, because once you start to feel it, the energy around you, you go, oh, there is something here. And that gives you the confidence and the trust to start listening more. And then what happens, you start to feel it, you start to wake up with a different feeling. And a lot of that mind or mental chatter starts to fall away. And once you get to that place and you start to go over that sort of lip, then you're going to want more. You're going to want to understand that, yes, I am a universal being having a physical experience. I'm not solid. This is an illusion. And how I navigate through that illusion now is entirely my choice, and no one else's. And once you feel that power back, that really transforms, things that was insurmountable, you can push through them. And what's also Spirit saying is that this needs to be simplified. So I've created a very simple understanding, very simple techniques. There's no loads of rules and having to read and practice so many things, and because human beings are already exhausted, they don't need another full set of rules and procedures to achieve spiritual, shall we say, integration. So really it's going to be teaching you that everything's already within you as well. And again, this is not the old earth information, this is the new earth information, and we're just coming through that. And really it's going to be another 18 months until we hit that new age energy, new earth energy, which is when the Aquarian age initially starts, is in 2023. So for the next 18 months, there's going to be more chaos around the planet, but that's okay, because chaos brings the change, it brings the evolution. And if you get on top of this now, it's so important that this time is really important. If you look within now, everything's going to start to open up, okay? Because everything has to manifest out. The soul will not be denied anymore. Everybody's soul on this planet is trying to connect with them right now. Okay, and the soul energy has been pushed away for lifetimes. It's been denied, it's been repressed, it's been shut out, mainly from, obviously religious programming, politicians, and societal programming. But that's all getting, flipped on its head now. So it cannot be denied anymore. The unseen cannot be denied. Reality cannot be denied any longer. We can't stay in this illusion any longer. It doesn't serve us. And in fact, this is what's causing most of the problems around the planet. It's the denial of what is real, what is truthful. So yeah, again, lots of things to talk about. And I'll discuss again, like the soul. I'll go into the alignment modality, how the activations work, how the ancient advanced numerology will assist you for every aspect of your life. I've got stuff on the mind complex. We'll be talking about the ancient meridian system, and giving you a lot more information about how to start bringing your soul contract into play very, very quickly. And also about understanding that everything is cyclical, so we need to start breaking up the cycles now, and give you tools to do that. And there's so much more to talk about. What I want to do also now is just read off a message. This is my latest channeling that I've just put on my Facebook group, and it'll just give you an understanding of the frequency that I'm bringing through, and what they're speaking about. And this is actually what's going on now around the planet and what's going to be coming up very soon as well. So I'm going to read that to you now. Okay, so I actually work with a consciousness called the Viridian consciousness, and they are, like many other spiritual collective forces, here to help the planet at the moment. So I labelled it, so also headed it, Earth Cycles Impact on Humanity. There will be many changes occurring on your planet, and the alignment of the Earth Mother with Father Sun will be the most profound experience as we all enter the Golden Age. The emotional charge of the planet's consciousness is already in manifestation, and the elemental kingdom is working tirelessly to assist the release, and much of this release is occurring on the etheric realm and can be felt through your feelings, not so much a physical reaction. Although Iceland is releasing Earth's anxiety, you are or will be feeling this through the fault lines. New York and Tokyo, the islands of the Maldives and Madagascar will also see high winds moving through the southern hemisphere, and especially the New Zealand area. The creative force is trying to push through the logic, and what you are finding within human beings is a need for more creative outlets, because the logical mind cannot hang on to the illusion of third density much longer. It needs and craves the feminine creativity to scoop it up and encapsulate it so it can rest and recover. Because in truth, the male force is exhausted, and I'll be talking about that as well. So that is why so many of you are exhausted at this time. This exhaustion has been carried for millennia, and it cannot survive in this state any longer. As polarity starts to find balance within the Earth Mother, you will experience tidal changes, but on a personal level, it will affect the throat chakra, where resistance to the feminine force resides. You may feel bouts of anger, frustration, and rage, because in truth, this is what the ego has created through its endless misunderstanding of its role and place. So, a feeling of frustration, feeling out of sorts, and fatigue will precede this year in those awakening. And for those that resist, you will see more doubt, fear, and despair. But that's their choice, and that is okay, because not all souls will initiate human amalgamation in this earth cycle. Go with the flow and make changes as much as you can in any area of your life. The old energy needs dispersing, but you must have conscious will to make that change, to embrace the cycle your soul is trying to impart. You will awaken in the coming years to a new earth, one that supports and nourishes the awakened soul, because you will come to feel the invisible world. And the consciousness of Earth Mother will be conscious within your human aura. And you will first communicate through your auric fields, as the psychic centres open to the unseen. Do not be scared by the government's fear tactics and control mechanisms. They will soon be exposed as the light returns and the power of human consciousness will once again reign supreme as you elevate and shine light onto the shadow self. It's all around the corner, dear ones. So these are the type of channeled messages that I bring through. The whole book is written. I've got a few books written actually. Like I said, the first one we're going to publish. I'll talk a little bit about that as well. But the main thing is just to get a message across to you guys. Hopefully it will help. Just give you a bit of understanding about what's going on, why you're feeling certain ways, what's maybe coming up. So then you can deal with things as well. Everyone's at different stages in their lives. And like I said, I'll be offering the alignment modality at the end. So if anyone's interested, you can always come and join us. So that's basically in a nutshell. So I will look forward to speaking to you all in August, and we'll go from there. And what I'll do is I'll also channel a nice message for everyone that's listening before the talk, and I'll read that off as I've just done this one as well. Okay, thank you very much, and I will speak to you all soon.